We're going to go ahead and connect to the loan data Excel file, which you should have access to, and I'm going to read in the spreadsheet loan stats 3A. I'm going to go ahead and load it straight into the desktop without any edits at first, and then we're going to come back and make some edits. I want to show you what motivated the edits first. We're going to create that 100% stacked bar graph, which is right here. And I'm going to pull over the loan purpose onto the axis. And I want to see the number of loans for each purpose. So that is the loan ID. I'm going to count those up. So this went to count. And I want to see how this breaks out by loan status. So I'm going to pull over here. Loan status onto the legend. All right. Now you'll notice that this looks a little bit sloppy. I got a lot of problems. I have this blank here. I have my different categories for loan purpose look a little bit sloppy. I'm going to have to work on these colors. I also wanted to focus in on whether 80% of the loans had been fully paid off or not. And right now, fully paid is over here to the right. And if I add a target line, I'm going to go ahead and add a line. This is the analytics button, and I can actually add let's say a goal of 80%, so 0.8. You see I get this line right here. What I'd like to know is whether or not 80% of the loans are fully paid off. So I've got to figure out a way to flip this over to here. I mean, I could make this 20% and look at the percent of the loan beyond 20%, but it's a little clearer if I make this 0.8. Okay, so we've got to do some manipulation on how this variable loan status is being sorted. So I'm going to go to the query editor. So let's go to edit queries. And let's see what we can do. Okay, so I'm in the query editor and I want to clean up my column purpose. I don't like these underscores. I don't like that things are not capitalized. It's easy to do this. I can highlight this column, do a right click, and I'm going to do two things. I'm going to get rid of those underscores. Replace values is helpful for that. I'm going to find those underscores and I'm going to replace them with a blank. I'm going to actually hit my space bar to get a blank in. That gets rid of those underscores, and it's very easy to capitalize the words. Again, right click, transform, capitalize each word. Okay, now you can see there's a lot of other options, so you are encouraged to explore and play around with those different options. All right, great, so now I have everything capitalized the way that I want it. I'm going to also need to grab the year off of the issue date. We're going to do a manipulation with that a little bit later. So I'm going to come over to issue date. And I need to add a column. I'll go over here to the date button and ask for the year. And I'm going to name that issue year. Okay, now the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a column to help me sort loan status the way I want. There's probably other ways to do this. You have to do a little bit of work. This way I think will be the easiest way in this particular case. Now, you might find another way, but the way I'm going to show you works. I need to be able to sort loan status by another column. I'm trying to find loan status. Here it is. I want to be able to sort this the way I want it. So I'm going to really manipulate this to work exactly the way I want it. I'm going to duplicate the column and I'm going to rename it loan status sort. Okay, and I want fully paid to show up first. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to replace the values for fully paid with a 1. And the rest of these, I'm going to replace them with a value as well. I'm not too concerned about their order. The main thing for me is I want loan status fully paid to come first. Let me sort this in descending order so that I get, make sure I get all the values replaced with numbers. So I'm going to replace this one with a 3. I know that there are 4 possible values for loan status, so once I get to 4, I know that I have them all. I know this because I've worked with the data. And let me sort this descending again. Okay, this is all I need to do in the query editor at this point, so I'm going to close and apply these changes and go back to the data visual. Okay, we're off to a good start here. These category names are cleaner now. I still need to come back and sort the loan status. To do that, I'm going to select loan status and I'm going to go to modeling, sort column by, and I've got to find that new column that we created, loan status sort. Here it is. So I'm going to sort that. And very nice, this did exactly what I wanted. Now we have fully paid off showing up first. I want to get rid of this blank. That doesn't look so great. And I'm gonna put a filter on this. I really only want to look at the top 5 loan purposes, and we can do that using what's called a top-in filter. So let's see, I'm gonna come over here back to the construction of the graphic. I'm going to come down to visual level filters and I'm going to say I actually just want the top 5 loan purposes, and I want the top 5 based on the number of loans for each purpose, so the count of the ID. And we'll apply filter, and that took care of the blanks as well. And this just is an easier graph to look at with not quite as much information. Okay? Now I also want to manipulate the color a little bit. Remember, we want to use color with meaning, so a good strategy is to make everything kind of a neutral color. Let's just soften these grays a little bit, make everything just a sort of a certain shade of gray. And we're interested in 80% being fully paid off. So let's make that one kind of stand out a little bit more. I'm going to make it this green color since paid off is a good thing. I think I want to make this last one a little bit darker so we can actually see it. All right, there we go. So at least those 3 will stand out. And we can play a little bit more with our formatting. I'm going to turn the data labels on so I can see the numbers. And since I made fully paid off green, I'm going to make this target line stand out a little bit more so it doesn't get lost. I'm going to make that color sort of an orange red. I'm going to make it a solid line as well. And I'm going to take away the transparency so it jumps out a little bit more. Okay, so this is looking a little bit cleaner. What else do I need to do? I don't like the way loan status looks over here with this underscore. I can rename that. I'm just gonna come over here and just rename the column, and that'll make that clean up a little bit. And finally, I want to add a column. I'm not sure why my color just changed here. Let me see what happened there. That was a little quirky. Okay, I'm just going to change that back to a gray color. Make it a little bit darker. Not that dark. Okay, now I want to add a title to sort of let users know what I'm looking for here. So under Format, I can go to Title, and I'm going to take away this default title. And I set this up so I could copy and paste it, but let's just say goal 80% of loans for top purposes fully paid. And how did your state do? Because we're going to add state a little bit later. So there's the title. I'm going to make it match our graph a little bit more. I'm going to make it green. I'm going to make it stand out a little bit. And let me just blow it up a little bit. And somehow my green color is not showing up really well. I think when I go back to the report, it'll show up. Let's just make it bigger. All right, there we go. And now we have a pretty nice looking 100% stacked bar graph.